Wow. Wow.
What a day.
Wow. 2 weeks off, and the day we get back online, the markets go crazy. Welcome to Talkin Tokens. My name is Adam Emschweller. This is my brother, Mike, on the other side. Here. John is being typical late John. He'll be here eventually, but we weren't able to get to the show last week or the week before that. Just life got in the way. This isn't our full-time job. We're just doing this on the side, but we choose a hell of a day to get back online with an unbelievable market move on cryptocurrency in general. For those who don't know, probably one of the biggest, I think it was one of the biggest single-day candles almost ever in the history, except for the Black Tuesday or whatever it was called back in March 2020.
Okay.
Like the pandemic day. There was a 40% drop that day. I think today was an 18% drop, at least in Bitcoin.
Right.
Some other tokens.
Altcoins almost doubling.
Yeah, we saw things going 30% down. Just a massive amount of volatility. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. But it is also Bitcoin Day here in El Salvador. So, Mike, why don't you? I'm going to bring up the screen here, and you can talk a little bit about it. Bitcoin Day.
Well, yeah, Bitcoin Day. As everybody knows, that they enacted a legislation, and I think today it went live, where they happened to buy like 200 Bitcoin, and they bought like 150 more today. I think bringing their total to about 550 total Bitcoin. They're just ramping up to take it as, now it's legal tender. So all merchants are required to accept it, but that doesn't mean that they can't, transfer it automatically or, immediately to US dollar if they choose.
Like they don't need to hold it. They just need to accept it.
Correct. So that was kind of some of the pushback, or that's maybe what people don't understand, is that there's a subsidized like wallet that they're putting out. So you don't have to use that wallet either, but they're willing to pay you $30 in Bitcoin to use the technology, and then to be in like solidarity with them. Everybody was going out and buying $30 worth of US dollar in Bitcoin. So. Yeah.
So the wallet, does the wallet subsidize like transaction fees in order to convert?
I believe so. Yeah. So, I think it's probably linked up to like some like Lightning Network, or I don't know if they have something else running on like one of the layers, but it should be subsidized, fees, and then they're going to give you a little bit, and then, you're not forced to keep it in that. You're just required to be able to accept that. So, yeah.
So there was another article here that was saying, right here, this guy. So there's the El Presidente of El Salvador. Hey, we got 4 live viewers. Oh, we got 2. Hey. Wow, those people were on. They were on quick. But if you have a comment, please hit the like button, make a comment in Facebook or YouTube, subscribe, all that jazz.
Make note of the algorithm.
Yeah, they have this video of this sweet old little lady. She's like, "How am I going to use Bitcoin?" I guess some people were saying like they haven't done a good enough job explaining it to the people. Like
right.
I can imagine like some random like barber in El Salvador is like, "What the F is a Bitcoin, and what am I going to do with it?" So there's still it seems like it happened quickly enough where there's a lot of people over there that have no idea, and it's still
it's definitely scary to probably like some of the older school people. I think it was only back in 2001 that the US dollar was kind of like implanted on them too. So then they were told, oh, you can use the old, colone, or I think that was what it was called, the old currency before, but then that was like quietly phased out, and then no one can use it. So then now they're being told, oh, well, don't worry, Bitcoin, you'll still have the US dollar. It's not going anywhere. But then they're feeling that like once they surrender those, then they won't be getting them back. So, I could see where there's a little hesitancy. But I think with the remittance and the fees being low, overall, people just, as you said, it needs to be explained to them. But
yeah, I can imagine
Yeah, I don't
people
know.
that
Even
just
some of our
don't even
audience,
really understand
they
it, or
know,
like, what am I
yeah, they
doing?
know
Why
about
are you?
crypto. They're interested in it, and even for us, it's still complicated. So I mean, anybody can understand the basis of it. But yeah, using a phone, instant transmission, funds. Like apparently they would have to like a lot of them work, and then they have to like drive somewhere and then like pay these like remittance fees and stuff. So I mean, it's saving them hours of time. It was better for I guess the pandemic at some point because it's like contactless pay. Um, but yeah, people are still a little skeptical whenever the government implements something, saying, "Oh, it's the best idea." Like, yeah, we're not here to harm you.
So they got $30 in a wallet, no matter what. Is basically their starting investment from the government. So you get a little
Yeah.
$30 payday,
Yep.
and as of 9 a.m. this morning, you're like, okay, I got $30 in Bitcoin, and then
Right. So you can.
as of noon, you had 25
It drops
because
to about 15.
this massive. I mean, look at it. I can't even show the whole thing because the volume goes up so high, it
Right.
like blends
Right. It
into
like
the candle
touches.
itself.
Right. It's the Burj Khalifa, like both ways. Not
I
good.
mean, it was just me and you were talking this morning. We're like, oh man, we saw this dip when we woke up. Basically, it was like, yeah, it was like
Right. I mean, and that's,
basically going to work. We're
it
like, oh
wasn't
man, kind
bad.
of hit the bottom of the
Right.
channel. I wish we took some profits. Like that sucks. It's like now we're gonna have to wait, and maybe we should have done something. And then I had a meeting, and then I think I called you or talked to you on. I didn't call you, but I talked to you on the thing. And it was like,
Right. Well,
uh-oh. I was like, what?
yeah.
Boo!
Yeah. It's like,
I
wow.
mean,
Wow. And it just kept like pushing down and further and further. And like, I think one of the lowest wicks on one of the exchanges was like 30, no, 39. Yeah. 39.
so I mean, 18.5%, $8,060 according to Coinbase's thing. And I heard Coinbase went down. I mean, again, this is like whenever these flash crashes happen, these exchanges
There's,
just can't keep up
right.
with the
Right. They
demand
can't,
of the
right. There's
load.
no, yeah, the
Swan went
demand.
down,
Yeah.
Coinbase went down.
Well, it's either
So
there's all these orders filling and then everybody's being liquidated. So, it's like at the same time, there's a lot of things going on at once when this price action happens, this manipulation.
yeah, there was one. Yeah, this right here. I'm glad you say liquidated. So analysts point to over leveraged trading. We talked about this the last time. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just so many people are leveraged. There was $3.5 billion in liquidations took place at Bitcoin crash price. So liquidation is the if you're leveraging, you can leverage up by a couple
I
X's
think
of
most
returns if you're on the
people
long
now it's
side,
like
or you can go
20%. I think most people banned 100.
right. So there's a lot of short making money and a lot of longs losing money when things get liquidated. You're basically just paying the shorts. Like that's how it works. Like one pays the other people.
Right. You're
Um,
saying it's going one way, they're saying it's going the other, and then it cascades, and then no one has the assets or the time to put in the money to then the trade going. So then it automatically sells all the assets, and then that just adds to yeah.
and it also, I mean, that's why okay, you get liquidated down here, but then the shorts have to buy. So then the shorts like they buy out of their position at a lower thing. So it basically like bounces back up. I think that's why there's so much, just that like volatility is part of that
Right.
leverage
Right. And then
craziness. And
everybody's
then the fact
orders
that
too,
people just see good deals at 42.
Right.
They're like,
Well, I
holy
mean,
shit.
everybody's orders too. Like how many people probably had something sit like maybe like a whale buy at 40. They're like, oh, if it just happens to drop to 40 again, I'll buy X amount. Or, we were talking about the drop down to the 21-week EMA. If you want to put it on the week EMA or the weekly candles.
Yeah, let me put that on here. 1 week.
So
So
you could
1 week,
see,
21 week is that yellow. So it
yeah, right.
basically Wick just barely passed it, but I mean, okay, we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 in a row, 5
Right.
green
So what
weeks
was the
in a
average? Like
row.
10 weeks, right?
Of what?
Of not hitting the EMA. Like usually it was like it was like 108 days or 109 days. What's that in weeks? 4,
108
8,
times
12,
divided by 7. It's like
12.
33. Where's my calculator at? Here we go.
Yeah,
107.
it's going to be between 10 and 12 weeks. But
That's 15 107 days. How many days did you say?
15. I thought it was like around maybe the 100-day mark. I mean,
From
that
the
was the
last time
average, because remember it went. You could see back here.
Yeah.
Remember, look how long it went right here. Remember, it went like 21 weeks without touching. Look right there. So this bottom one, and then it blasted off, and it didn't touch, didn't touch, didn't touch, didn't touch, didn't touch, didn't touch, and then that's when we had that huge crash back down to reality. And then we went past all the EMAs, and then now we went underneath. We tested it, retested it. You can see under here, we didn't stay under for too long.
Right. So in our normal bull market situations, here's a natural progression.
Right. See, a touch,
blast up, touch, blast up, touch.
Right.
So like that, if we just do that now, will be great.
Right.
And for the next couple,
that seems to be, I mean, the case so far, but
right. So there were big days where just massive candles down, and here we go, boop, and then whoop, and then you have to dump to pump. You got to have a pump to have a dump. You got to have a dump to have a pump. So people just have to. The worst thing you could do is sell at the bottom of that dip, because obviously you would have lost like immediately.
Right, like 20%
gains that they made back just by pumping up. Now it's probably going to have some more downside the next couple of days. There's a little bit of momentum kind of going the red way, but
set your targets maybe for like the weekly EMAs there, the 21 or the 34, and then.
And by the way, not to toot a little horn here, but look, if you look at this. When we drew this back on this date, we were like, hey, it's going to it might charge up to the 50,000, and then it's going to blast down to the lower support 41, which was the where we just blasted off a couple weeks before we drew this candle. So I was like, hey, maybe it's going to do this and come back down. And on this scale, it actually looks like pretty damn accurate. So we talked about this as a possibility even. It feels like crazy because it happened so quickly, but I thought it was going to be more gradual. But at this point, you got it out of the way. Now we know.
I think now we're ready to move on.
Now we're ready. There's a new base of people. We've we've cleared that 41,000 is now mega support for a lot of buyers.
Yeah.
It's not, and we bounced off the 21-week EMA, which is what you just mentioned is actually a very bullish situation. So,
it's a good touch. It's a good indication, so. And that's a good buy.
With that said, I mean, all the altcoins just got murdered times 2. I mean, there's so many coins here that we had so much nice gains in ADA. And
Ethereum lost about,
I mean, they're kind of seeing the same thing. They wicked back up a little bit. Like a lot of these were at 30% losses earlier today.
Right. See, that hasn't touched 21 week yet.
The funny one is Solana, which is
right. It just does opposite of the market. I mean, everybody's really bullish on it. So
right now it went all the way down. It went all the way down, like everything else.
Yeah.
And then it went all the way wicked back up to almost exactly where it started at 191, which is like basically the start of the day. Like right here was the start of the day. And then it kind of like fizzled out, but it's kind of been chilling. So it really didn't get that affected by the overall.
No.
So
and if you wanted to FOMO in, a good time would have been like at 120, because now it's back to like $200.
I mean, basically, it did a regular healthy move. So it went up and came back down to the 20. That's a 21-day. I think it's way above its weekly EMA. Yeah, so it's still like huge pace. It kind of almost did the same thing. It's a healthy bounce off the 21. You see it almost did it there too. So
I mean, it's due for a touch. It's due for a touch. So that may be a good. Just keep an eye on that for your target, like your buy-in.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking, right now it's in the middle of a Fibonacci zone, so it's
we're only on targeting.
It should be going up to about 216 here in the next couple of weeks. couple days. But yeah, if you're looking to buy and you have some money, that would have been a great opportunity down here at 120. But maybe, you kind of look at the 130 zone as a good buy zone for Solana.
Well, and just like we had the last crash where it seemed like we were like down, and like could it go lower? But I mean, we were saying anything under $40 for Solana was good. And
I know. That was just a couple weeks ago.
Right. So, these crashes, we look at them like, oh, they're so bad. Like, man, like, I can't believe like the crypto market's down. And like, but I mean, down here, this is $40. This is $19. I mean, you had those drops,
Right here, 19 in
Yep.
June.
Yep.
You had another opportunity here, 24.
Yep.
We thought 40 was a pretty good buy, and then look at it now. Just
So I mean, is Solana trying to? Remember, they've had a lot of NFT like launches, and people are buying in, a lot of action there. But people are saying it's like a very centralized network, So I guess that's like a knock against it, So if you're centralized, you're not as
a lot of these
you're
altcoins
easily
are not-
controllable. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these altcoins are centralized. I mean, that's kind of part of their. Not everyone is effectively decentralized.
Well, as decentralized, right? I mean, you have like reliability, decentralization, and like scalability. So you have to like pick two.
Right? Well, that's what Cardano is trying to be, all the solutions in one, because they have decentralized components of their strategies while maintaining some of the other things. That's why it's been so hard to build, but they have a lot of promise. So Cardano,
kind of big hit today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they released their smart contracts, I think, in 4 days, and a lot of people are saying it's going to be a sell the news event.
250, right? Or there's a lot of resistance and mental resistance at $3. It seems like.
Well, it definitely was struggling. I have a pretty large position of part of my portfolio in ADA right now, and so I need this to stay alive. Obviously, it's struggling to stay. It's kind of sat on this this Fibonacci right now, and it's just chilling there. But in 5 days, they have the smart contract release. There's a lot of good movement. I think overall, this is a long term, like very maybe $10 coin, but for the short term. They're basically saying there's a lot of support at 2. Obviously, that's kind of where it dropped down to. So like $2 right there. Look, it went basically down to $2. So tons of people had buy orders at 2.
Right?
Yeah, it's at 251 right now. So a lot of support at $2. So that's, the downside of investing in it right now is probably $2 for the short term.
The beginning of this run, we bought it. I bought it at like 99 cents, and I was like, oh man, like it was. And then I bought like $1. Now here we go. We're now $2 is kind of like the floor.
Yeah, there was an article here.
Keep it staked, so it's just making other money itself, and then or just making more ADA itself.
Yep. So here you go. Cardano, 290% rally before bull cycle ends, according to one analyst. And basically, here's those targets. He's looking at Elliott waves, and if you break it all down, it's like, it went from like 10 cents to $2.47. And that same wave on the Elliott wave basically brings it to like, where was he saying? Yeah, basically like brings us up to $10, $10 to $11 on the same like Elliott wave from that point. So yeah, here you go. Current value 0.28.
1,000% return.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things could change, but there's still a lot of things happening. Some of the other coins, they got crushed. I mean, everything got crushed, really. Ethereum,
Doge back to 25 cents. Yeah,
we've been loving this thing at about 4,000, trying to get to its next level, right in the middle of like a Fibonacci. We just couldn't really do much, and Now it's kind of sitting at its 21-day
Yeah.
EMA-ish. They've recovered pretty nicely, though. I mean, 34,000. We did this show, and it was at 31,000 like a couple weeks ago. So we're still higher than we were a couple weeks ago.
3,100, right? 3,100.
The trend still ultimately is going up in this chart.
Right. It blasted
Litecoin
through all of
its
its EMAs there.
Litecoin is making some good moves. It fell, got hit pretty hard. Dogecoin just
Back
really
to
falling
25
away
cents.
right now.
Yeah. No more yellow brick road.
Yeah, the yellow brick road theory is, I think, kaput. I was hoping it would do something right here and just like hit a nice jump up, but we're going the other way.
The other way. If we had a green candle right there, that would have been nice.
Right.
But
Yeah, if that was the other side.
right.
See a coin. I mean, everything just got blown up. It's all the same shape. Shiba's just in the dirt with
But this
Dogecoin
is
right
when
now.
you should ultimately have some USDC, tether, chilling, waiting, and then you buy the dips.
The problem is you can't, even those exchanges, like where you try to buy it, you probably, if you didn't already had it set up, it wouldn't have bought. Like,
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. I was just hoping, like, even if you were like in BlockFi, maybe it would allow you to just execute a swap. Yeah.
But you got to be watching how quickly did it happen. Like we were, you're on one phone call, and next thing you know, you already missed it.
Oh yeah. But still, I mean, if it's just
you can buy today in general, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, right? Yeah. Like if at the beginning of the day you had 2,000 in a bank account or in your account, and then it drops to 47, 45, 42, 39, and then you're like, wow, like now you're getting alerts. I had like 7 alerts on my phone, like Bitcoin dropped this, Bitcoin dropped that, everything drop. So then that alerted me to then, you just go there and then just do your, like, maybe you caught it at 45, but I mean, it was at 52. I mean, that's a $7,000, drop. Maybe you just pick up 100 or 200 or 500 or whatever. But as you said, being ready.
Before, you got to be patient, and
that's set your alerts. And then, I mean, I was trying to take profits of ETH at 4, and it never really. It popped over it. I missed it. I set my alert, and then it never went back. And then I was like, well, it's at like 3950. I'll just wait a little bit longer, and then. Pew!
So we got a comment here. Facebook user. Just joining. Did you already adjust Sol? Yes, you did. You probably just missed it. Obviously, Sol is a front runner in the whole market right now. We did show it on the charts. It's looking very positive.
It's a lot of good things pretty much
just unbelievable amounts of gains since our last episode. And actually, it's a good transition to our cryptocurrency draft update.
Oh, yeah, we could take a look there.
John is not here to participate in it, but we'll pull it up real quick. And Sol is one of his best team members.
Right. That was a great pick on his behalf.
All right, let's pull this up. Week 1, we've already passed that. Week 2. So we ended last week. Oh, yeah, here's week 3 right here. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, week 3. Shiba down. He lost $300. I guess he's looking at his team over here. These are his profits just for week 3. So even with all the losses today, Solana still had $1,800 in profit comparatively to last week. So that's how awesome it was doing. I mean, just that was a 50% change. It eventually went up to 192. He would have been up $2,400.
Wow, so he doubles his investment there.
Yeah, it would have been a 66% change week to week. So holding his team down for sure. Theta just barely inching out. Luna had some really high gains in the beginning. It's obviously fell off today. And Stellar actually these numbers are probably all a little bit higher now. I did this like an hour ago, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Mike, you had about the same all around, about 10%, 7%. Your best one, Polygon. survived the attack
Right, yeah.
a little bit.
Not
It's a little bit lower right now. It's at 1.33. So yes, yeah, all these numbers probably need to adjust a little bit, but
I'm all in the negative.
yeah, I mean HNT probably got hit the hardest over week to week. I think it was up at 27. It's at 20 right now, so it's gained a little bit since I wrote this. Pirate Coin.
Keep it in the treasure box.
Arr, mate.
Last time I ever draft that coin, but
I mean, it doesn't even follow the overall.
no.
Oh, it hasn't done nothing. It's
I mean, I was just hoping it'll just act independently and just grab another spike, but I mean, doesn't seem like that's the case. So, what you got? You got Cardano, Ethereum.
Cardano's kind of sitting around there. Ethereum's about there. BAT, I was making good gains with BAT. That was up at like 0.95 right before the break. I think it almost hit into $1. So I was like loving it. Axie is at 60. Wow, it went up since it's at 7% gain right now for the new day.
Nice.
So there you go. It's going back.
Yeah, I mean, Axie is. I've listened to a bunch of like podcasts on it, and it's. Yeah, I mean, gaming to make money. I mean, that's it's giving people like jobs. Yeah, it's giving people jobs. It's like buying houses. It's like
It's like the gamer's dream. Can I just make money off playing freaking Xbox?
Oh, it's just like a lot of these third world countries or stuff. Like you can either go to a job that doesn't make you that much money, and you like have to labor, and like a bunch of stuff could happen that's bad, or you could just learn how to play a game, and then they're waiting for the opportunity to get the chance. Because you need to at least have 3 of the NFT little creature guys to be able to play. So you have to either buy those, have them bred, or people loan them to you, and then you're just kind of like you play, and then the person that loaned them to you makes money off you for playing. So, but
crazy concept.
Yeah, so Solana, I can't. Yeah, it's at overall market cap is 7, which it looks like it'll pass XRP here. It only needs $3 billion more total. It'll move to number 6 overall position.
I believe it. Yeah.
It is up 57% in the last 7 days.
Let me pull that up while we're looking at it. Ranking.
Yeah. Good to see the numbers here. Obviously,
right. So Cardano made the big move like recently up to number 3.
Right, the 3.
XRP
with Binance having some issues, kind of falling back a little bit.
Yeah. Dogecoin's on its way down, obviously trending downward historically. But yeah, Solana's going to be right up here soon. Let's see, how far away is it? We got 3 billion, 70 billion. I got something to say on USDT here on one of these. But anyway, so overall, these are the final. We have one more week in our cryptocurrency draft project.
So it looks like John may be doing it again.
He might be doing it again because he just gets that one coin that just goes butt crazy. Hey, but I mean, look, we started at 62.9 and now it's at 172. So, and that was mid. I mean, that was a good day. But we've seen it at 44. But he hit it like right on this.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I wouldn't be mad with a 1% loss. I mean, if that's
after today, if these numbers this morning were completely different.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm just like, okay, well, that's not,
So if you put 10,000 in, you'd only be $100 down after today's bloodbath, which
I'm fine.
Doesn't feel that bad. That's kind of it's a positive way to look at it.
Yeah, and then you're up like $500, right?
Yeah, and obviously John made the right call on where he was at. He also did the 2,000 distribution evenly, so he kind of weighted his coins. Like we had some coins that did better than some other coins, but we didn't put enough money.
If he knew Solana was so good, what if he put like 5K in that? It's like he would have got
I
like
put a
so
lot of
much.
money. I put a lot of money in Audius, and it's my worst performer. So, could I be in a different position if this was, if I put more into Ethereum or I put more into BAT, I would have had more gains. I lost $800 in gains. So
Yeah, well, we're all, we all look back and said, well, we wish we put this X amount of money in Solana.
right, exactly.
Uh,
All right, so we've looked at this one. This
yeah,
one I thought was kind of interesting. So NFL had banned crypto advertisements for their teams, so players can still associate with cryptocurrency direct companies or create an NFT like Tom Brady and all of them.
right, yeah, like with Top
But the
Shots or
teams
whatever.
themselves can't advertise directly, which to me, this is clearly NFL. One, they're all owned by like old banker people. So like they're like
Right, yeah,
pissed
right,
off
right.
that.
They're fighting it.
And then two, NFL is probably going to make their own NFT and they don't want to like
Right,
support.
right. Well,
They're going to
like,
come up with, they're trying to figure out how can they monetize it before we advertise it.
right. And how can we, just like claim copyright to all, it's like, oh, well, the NFT is just going to be this little clippet of NFL, history or like,
Right. It'll be a
like,
Super Bowl ticket NFT or something. So it's, to me, it's like twofold. It's like the owners of in general are probably just the old legacy wealthy
yep,
individuals,
yep,
corporations,
banker. They're just, yeah, what's
institutions.
a
And
cryptocurrency?
so they're probably not that big of fans of it. And now they're behind. So now they're basically saying, oh, well, you can't do anything until we figure this out and try to get into it.
Right, ban
So
it, right. Don't let anybody, they want to be in the front seat,
clubs
be
are
in control.
prohibited from selling or otherwise allowing within club controlled media advertisement for a specific cryptocurrency, initial coin offering, or other cryptocurrency sales or other media categories as it relates to blockchain, digital asset, or blockchain company.
Huh.
So it's like, I mean, it's like, so basketball
Well,
teams are
what
allowed
if
to like, FXT exchange was on Miami's or one of the Florida teams. Like you can't you can't take your stadium name can't be associated with an exchange, like all that stuff. They're trying to lock it out. So
huh.
I thought that was
I mean, Mark Cuban was like, "We'll take Dogecoin," so it's like they're not even like allowing you to like accept like maybe currency, or I wonder if that has any.
prohibited from selling or otherwise. I think it's more like just
Trying to make money off it.
they
That's
can
it.
accept the Bitcoin as a company, I think, but they can't like
Okay.
you can't go in and be like, this game is sponsored by
Well, you
Solana.
couldn't just say, "Hey, like Jerry Jones can't say I got all these Cowboys NFTs, come buy them from me," and then he would make money off them.
I think that's very much
But
where
why
I'm
can't he
seeing it
make it?
going.
So they just can't advertise it, or I mean, I guess it says an NFT sales, so that's
You can sell them. I
it's
think
kind of
as a
strange. How
company,
could they
he
not
can't.
sell the
Yeah.
likeness of their own self?
I think it's the NFL being, they've had some
Are they going to try to
controversial
write in
stances
like a
on things.
DAO, and then like every time it's sold, then the NFL is going to get a little piece of that? It
I'm
like
sure.
remits something back to them,
I'm sure they're looking at it and being like, "We want some of this money. That's what we
right?
need."
They're like, if we do this, we could like be set up for a while.
So not that I align with her political views at all, but I thought this was worth stating that again. There's people still trying to FUD the cryptocurrency world and support the U.S. banks. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, one of the biggest skeptics in the government on cryptocurrencies, calling cryptocurrency the new shadow bank. Money that's
Right.
not known about.
Easily laundered, right? Can't be tracked,
Right. So
not
she's
accounted for.
proposing a whole bunch of new legislation that tries to basically, this is what it is, that she's trying to ban banks from holding the assets that stabilize stablecoins. So like
So you need the one-to-one
you
like
can't
dollar
hold
for the
Tether
coin.
dollars because they're using it as a stablecoin asset. So she's trying to ban banks from being able to hold those funds, which is crazy.
Don't see how that would help at all.
How that would what?
how would that help at all? How that would be?
Well, I mean, if Tether needs to hold $8 billion in US dollar, and they're not allowed to have any banks in the US to hold the dollar, where are they going to put the money? Like in a vault in their basement?
Right. Well, Tether's based out of China, so they'll just
Okay, well,
put it
maybe
in
not
China.
Tether. It just said, I mean, it says Tether, but it's USDC or any stable coin. She's just trying to say prevent banks from holding
Right. Well, then
reserves.
it wouldn't be a stable. So you're just saying by de facto, like not allowing them to keep the money, the stable coin wouldn't exist
Yeah. Well,
because
it's going to make it
there's no
harder for
backing
them.
for
It's
it.
going to make it harder for them to just hold the asset.
Right. Yeah.
Is what she's trying to do. And it's a specifically private stable coin, so the government can do it.
Right.
Not
Well, so yeah, it's just tipping the scale, right? So yeah, USD stable coin, yeah.
So more regulation to come as things develop, but obviously there's proponents and people that don't like it.
It's still
This
such
is
a
just
fluid scenario, you know.
yeah, just more on Bitcoin. So this is a weekly RSI, just showing, here's the price chart, here's the RSI chart, and as we've been moving our way up here, we crested over. I think we actually barely crest 53,000 right before it kind of fell off. It looked down here at the RSI, very oversold or overbought.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And then we just
I mean, was that an indicator that it was probably overbought? I
be.
mean, I think we all knew it moved a lot in the last couple of days, but no one knew that it was going to drop like it did.
50K is just kind of volatile, you know. So it's like we had like our 30s, we chopped around in the 30s, 40s. We've been in there for a while. Now it's like, you know, maybe we have a new floor at 40, possibly.
Right. So this is looking at the 100-day support. I think this is a weekly support. So just showing that kind of where it stands, big picture.
Yeah.
This was a chart just kind of, again, talking about some of the same things, like we're making higher lows even from the couple weeks before. So overall, still a very good sign. There's a big, support zone in that 47 to 49,000, which is what we experienced today. Same thing here. If it's going to close above 43,000, 3,400, it's most likely going up from here, which is the same concept. Like we've now seen the correction low, which Ethereum ultimately went down to like 30 or 3,000. Sorry, 3,000, and it's going to close. I think it closed above. What's the data? What did it close at today? Let's see.
I mean, yeah, it's at 34.53 right now. So
yeah, so it closed at 34.41, which is right above this target.
Right.
So like, if it closes above that, then
could be a great place to buy, and then shoots back up to 4,000. And same with Cardano. It said it bottomed out at 2, and then we needed to close
very
over
strong support at
245.
2. It needs to close above 245, which today.
So that's 250 right now.
It closed at 251, right? So it's like, a lot of these analysis are like, it was a necessary correction. Again, we're saying the same thing over and over and over, but just reinforcing that got to be strong with the worst thing you could have done is fear sold at the top of the bottom of today.
At the bottom of that, yeah.
Oh, what do we want to do it? Then next thing you know, it almost went back to. I mean, it was a terrible day, but it almost went back to where you kind of were. You would have been like, fuck.
Pull up the fear and greed chart. Is that?
Oh yeah, that's real high. Let me see. BTC.
We were at like 78 or something like that. So I wonder.
So yeah, right now it's neutral.
Right. So yesterday we were almost at 80, and then now we like cooled off like in one day. We're just like, wow, okay,
So if you're ever thinking like, hey, should I FOMO in? I mean, these are
Take a
indicators.
look. Take a look at this. Be like, hey, it's at 80, 90. No, be like, no, wait. Just wait. Now you got to pull back to. Now we're in the middle. Now we're somewhere like kind of,
I mean, not every one indicator is not a direct correlation, but they are ways to think. Should I pull the trigger at this moment, or should I just give it a couple more days? And you could
trend is your friend to the end. You got RSI. You got other.
You're going to feel very secure
EMAs.
that you're buying in at least at a reasonable point in the market. So
right, or just wait. I mean, you have these pullbacks, so just wait for a 20% pullback and then jump in.
And we've looked at this many a times over the last couple weeks here with the show. This is the Plan B baseline stock to flow forecast. And, obviously, even with this recent downturn and uptrend, we're kind of sitting right here. So we're still in the realm of, $100,000 is right around the corner. We're not that far off of the stock to flow model just yet. Definitely not down here. And we're above this little parabolic line there. So nothing's really changed too much. We're just grinding away. Things are coming along.
I mean, looks pinch point coming up between their prediction line and then that parabolic kind of line.
And I think we already pulled this one up. Yep. So there you go.
Yep.
Well, we missed John. Where did John go? He just couldn't make it.
He's AWOL. He's probably out partying with his Solana.
His fake Solana gains. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Solana to meet Selena at the salon.
Meet some Selena at the Solana. I did take some of my Cardano yesterday. I told you that on the golf course. I took some Solana Cardano and sold it for Solana.
Right.
I'm kind of glad I did today because Solana didn't get it hit hard or really at all compared to the Cardano.
Yeah, I mean, seems like today would have been a good place to jump in if you hadn't had a foothold in Solana or just taking profits from something else, converting it over, and then moving on along.
My problem is I take the profit. And then I'm sitting on some money. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to put it into the next thing. And I got to just take it.
And just let it sit. Well, I mean, that was my plan. The ETH plan was it's going to be at 4K. I'm taking out the original amount, and then I'm going to let it sit in USDC, which that'll allow me to then have money ready, to convert on the next drop. And then I was just like, oh, well, I missed it. And then the next day it drops. I'm like, darn it. Because I mean, you can earn 8.5% in BlockFi, so that's double what I'm making on BTC and Ethereum. And then
but for a couple of days, it's only like a couple of dollars. But yeah, I mean, I get
but I mean, I would have probably
worst case it's
I would have probably kept 1,000 at like 1,000 of like that, and then I would have like put 1,000 into the other thing. Or if it had a severe drop and I could catch it at 40 again, I would have just dropped another 2 or right into it. But doesn't always work out. Make a plan, try to stick to it. If it's plus or minus like 5%, it's like if you're that close, take something.
What I did notice today, though, is like the same. So if you are invested in the traditional stock market for companies that we have talked about, like MicroStrategy or Mara or some of the other traditional stocks, they don't bounce like Bitcoin does. So MicroStrategy didn't have the same drop. I mean, it had a pretty significant drop, 10%, but it didn't wick down like like Bitcoin did. So if you are heavily invested in these guys to use your traditional stock and IRA or whatever, they're very heavily correlated to the Bitcoin price right now because they own so much Bitcoin, but they don't recover like Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency market does when these things happen.
Plus they're not open 24/7. Yeah, I mean they only have their hours.
It moved down like this and it never came back up, like even the whole day. It was just like, so I mean, Mara did the same thing. Big drop. So it's been going up. It doesn't, obviously, it's not as volatile, and that's the whole point. It doesn't do the same kind of price action, but just be aware it doesn't. Maybe tomorrow, since Bitcoin recovers or stabilizes, maybe it'll kind of reclaim some of that again. But
I'm sure. I mean, it's probably not a bad time to, pick up a couple shares here and there. What about Coinbase? What does that do?
it didn't actually move that much. I mean, it had a 4% day. It wasn't as catastrophic for Coinbase for some reason.
Seems to
Which
be
that's been
recovering somewhat
maybe they see 1,000.
overall.
You think like there's 100,000 transactions happening a second. Like the more volatility in the market, Coinbase makes more money.
Right. Yeah.
They don't
The fees and
necessarily
everything.
they don't necessarily need it to be good. They just need there to be a lot of movement. So like maybe
Right.
that's
They
the
want
logic.
they want the swings one way or the other. FOMO buying
They
in,
want people putting it
FOMO
on the
selling
exchange and
out.
selling it or buying it. And so like one way or the other, they're making money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why it didn't move as much, but maybe that's one logical reason.
Could be a factor.
This is
And
total,
gold too. Gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah. So
Gold
if you're out of the Bitcoin or not a cryptocurrency fan and holding gold, you saw a very similar drop for. So what's that correlation there? What is driving? What happened to the market today? What information do we not know that brought the entire?
I mean, was it all
it didn't bring
based off
everything down, but
is it all
obviously,
based off the Dow Jones? So it's just like there's bad numbers, like COVID, all these like, there's no jobs, like inflation, and then the narrative of the war. So then was everybody just scared? They sell, and then they have to cover all their positions from that by taking out of the crypto market. Or I mean, everything was sell. So are people just scared? So when they're scared, then they sell to then retract some of their risk.
I just don't. I didn't see a specific piece of information that was like
No, I mean, I think it's just
that would have ignited all of
I think
that.
we're kind of like in this like wait and see period where it's like we're this transition from like this administration to this administration to what's the new normal to like COVID to all these different things, like now going into this like digital age, and like, things are just changing. So I think it's just kind of like a wait and see, number go up technology, you just, I don't know, somewhat unpredictable. We're so long for the ride.
The loop ring was one of the ones one of our commenters brought up last week. Oops.
Okay.
Same deal. Bitcoin dominance. We've looked at this a couple of times. So
Yeah, they pull that up.
with the move overall today, it wicked up really high because the altcoins got blasted.
Right.
But then eventually
and
they kind of
relatively,
leveled
right.
out. Bitcoin kind of leveled out. So it's been moving up because it has been moving up quickly comparatively to some of them. But overall, you can see the, I think it's the 100-day EMA right there. Bitcoin's generally losing dominance comparatively to the market, but that's, not necessarily a bad thing. It just means some of the altcoins are gaining some traction. There's
Right.
more competitors in the market, and there's things
Right.
other than Bitcoin that people are compelled to buy. So,
Yeah, for different reasons, right? So store value, use, there's
total market cap, basically, everything just follows
wow,
kind of Bitcoin at the moment because Bitcoin's got
1.82 trillion, and it was at 2.5 almost
2.45
4.
down. So the conversation you're having earlier, like, what does that equate to in economies? Like, what?
Right, like how many like
You just dropped off like the whole
how many
Panama country.
GDPs or like
Panama.
total like budgets did we just lose in a day or something?
Like
It's
Nairobi just got dumped in
wiped out.
one day. Their whole economy of
The whole
value.
budget like just
Look at those numbers down here. You don't see trillion often written out.
No. Nope.
Whenever they talk about trillions in the news, they should show it like that. And then people would be like,
Right.
what the?
Like, this is how much money we owe. And this is our national debt. I mean, that's the national debt pretty much. 21 trillion. Or no, it's 2 trillion. You got to add some trillions to that.
What's the national debt website?
Oh, it's like the debt clock or something. Debt clock.
Yeah, there we go. 28
trillion per citizen. 86,000.
So yeah, if you saw that number, like 28, they always write it like 28. You know, it's just they see it like this, like on the side. You see a little
28.1.
T, and you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, it's 28 trillion. That's not bad.
28T.
But you see it like that with no commas, like it just looks like some unbelievable number.
Right. Just like, oh yeah, sure, okay, yeah, like that's real. Like you're just like counting up these like ching 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 ching. Ching. I mean, you could see the debt on the clock going up. I mean, that's just money being spent like it's nothing. Total U.S. debt.
Total market cap of economies. Let's see. Global market cap economies, 87 trillion for the whole world. I was hoping to give me like a list.
Oh yeah, like each.
Here we go.
What,
Market
like,
capitalization by country. Here we go. This is it. Come on, give me some. There we go. So this is 1,000, million, billion, trillion. $156 million. What are they doing here? This is 1,000, million, billion, trillion. What's after a trillion?
gazillion?
They just start talking about it in millions of millions.
Millions of millions. Like, oh yeah, 12 million millions. You're like, wait, what?
12 million millions. So yeah, here's like 1,000, million. That's a million.
So it's like
Okay,
1
so
trillion.
it isn't trillion. Yeah, it's trillion. It's got to
Yeah.
be trillions.
Yeah, so that's 1 trillion, and
That's 12 trillion. So then today, when we lost, what did we say? We lost like 1 trillion. So South
1.4.
Africa,
Yeah, 1.4 trillion.
the entire economy of Australia got bounced today out of the market.
Just got wiped out by liquid
Holy crap.
positions.
So that's crazy. And who now holds that money?
All the exchanges and everybody that does the.
No, I mean, because it goes from shorts to longs and people who sold.
Well, yeah, that too. So it's being paid out, but then it's like being paid out to the other people, and then whoever's facilitating the paying out, because they're making money.
Right. So 1.2 trillion times, like, what do you think they make? Like 0.001%. So they made like $1 billion in fees today.
Fees today.
I guess if it was all at one site.
Right. Well, I mean, like collectively, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of money. Just bottom line, just like when Bitcoin is over 50K, isn't it like a 1 trillion market cap? So I mean, that's a lot of money
in Bitcoin itself.
Yeah.
The whole economy of Australia or Iran or
there you
South
go.
Africa.
Right. Yep. Decentralized, can't be stopped, unmutable.
That's right.
Big
That's
as a
right.
government, can't be stopped by a government. Can't be told to wear a mask or be vaxxed. So.
That's right. That's right. We are not financial advisors, but thank you for listening to Talkin' Tokens today. Appreciate it. We had at least 2 people very strong the whole time.
Cool.
One person now, big shout out to the YouTube viewer. Okay, thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. Like, subscribe,
you.
share. We need everything we can get. We're
Yep.
on our way to 500 followers. I actually didn't look at what the followers were today, but we're getting our way there. I don't think anybody's going to want Shiba Inu after today, so maybe let they figure
We
out
can
something
change
else
it
to
to
buy.
something else. Hey,
There is
put
a
a Solana on there. I'm sure we've got people flocking to us.
yeah. If you watch Tyler S Crypto on YouTube, he's got 1,000 ADA giveaway here coming up. So free entries just by like doing the little Gleam IO thing.
Nice. Why not?
Something
Did
to,
anybody win? Wasn't there an ETH giveaway? Like
for
BitBoy Crypto?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you
We would have
totally
heard
didn't
about
win
it.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I got my Twitter back. I got Twitter. They unsuspended me after I appealed.
Oh, really? Nice.
So now I can finally like participate in those retweets again.
Yep.
It was just like they suspected I was hacked, but like that was whack because they didn't turn it off. They just suspended me. I couldn't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Stupid. But
Arbitrary, stupid stuff. Yeah.
anyway, let's roll the credits with the song.
Yep. Take it easy, everybody. Always play from a position of power and don't get wrecked.
Here comes the money for next week. Put in your buy orders for your target 21 week EMA Bitcoin followers. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Take care. Peace, everybody.